Hello everyone, this is James Francis and welcome to this Facebook Live, which happens to be the very first episode of our brand new live show for our Facebook community here for Digital Prosperity, which is the Prosperity Accelerator Show. All right, let me know if you can hear me okay. Go ahead and just put yes in the comments, or let me know where you're from in the world. I'm coming to you today from sunny San Diego in my backyard, which is very nice today. Beautiful weather. Let me show you that. Beautiful sunny skies and so on, so hopefully you can join us for this live show. I'm super excited to share a bunch of valuable stuff with you, specifically the 5 must-have components for a profitable online business. And by profitable, I don't just mean making 1,000 here, 1,000 there. I mean a consistent, dependable $10,000 plus per month, as we've done since 2008. We've been doing this stuff for a very long time, made over 8 figures between ourselves and our coaching clients as well. All right, so let me know in the comments if you can hear me okay. We've got Carlos here. Let's have a look. Let's see who else we have as well. We've got this coming on. Perfect, good stuff. So in this live stream, I'm going to make good for the stream that happened yesterday. Basically, we had a bunch of technical issues and it didn't really go to plan. Honestly, it was like, well, what happened, And I just kind of want to make good for it. I'm going to be walking around a little bit more as well, so you got a bit more visual stimulation instead of just seeing me sat at my desk. Hopefully you like the new format. Let me know in the comments if you prefer seeing stuff like this. That'd be awesome. But essentially, I'm here to help you, to deliver massive value. And if at the end of this call, the end of this live stream, you do decide that you would want more information about working with us, what it would look like, the full details and so on, please let me know. We'll be happy to share that. But in this session, I'm going to give you the 5 must-have components for any online business where you're selling advice or information. Okay, so if you don't have these 5 things, all of them, you are going to end up just not really getting anywhere, not making any progress, and just spinning your wheels and wondering why stuff isn't working. Okay, hello to everyone joining us as well. It's great to have you with us. So basically, I'm going to get right into it, but first, you should know this group is only for you, really. If you are looking to sell information, you're looking to sell advice, courses, coaching, consulting, anything where you're helping somebody, this is not for you. If you want to sell digital products like your grandma's panties or something like that, it's not really for anything physical. It's more about digital information, because we've found in our experience it's more scalable, it's more reliable, and honestly, you work a lot less, which is great for everyone, right? So essentially what you're looking for here is, passive income, where you can set things up once and things just tick over on autopilot, or at least near autopilot, because then you're able to just enjoy beautiful weather like this, for example. Once again, ignore the dog poo on the backyard, family stuff. I'm getting a bit red here in the sun, I think, so I'm going to go inside in a sec. But, for now, let's get into it. Now, we can talk about this stuff here together, me and you, because I've been doing this stuff since 2008. It's a very long time. And over those years, I've learned a lot, working with clients in all different types of industries, ranging from like health, wellness, mental wellness, career coaching, online business stuff, manifestation, like you name it. I've worked in that niche with a client or our own business as a little subsidiary. Okay, so basically we've learned, the stuff I'm going to be sharing with you today is stuff that actually works for most niches, like 99% of the niches. In fact, I've not really seen a niche this hasn't worked for yet. And it's basically just really, do you sell information or advice? Yes, great, it's going to work for you. If not, don't worry about it. All right. So let's get into it now. First thing out of 5 is you need to have the right foundation in your business. Okay, so if you don't have the right foundation, what can happen is everything comes crumbling to the ground. Just like, you build a house without the right foundation, everything sinks down and you just ruin your house, right? And what I mean by the foundation is the niche that you are in, thing number 1, and then that means like, who are you helping and how are you helping them? Specifically what with, okay, so your niche. The second thing is, do you have the right mindset? Do you have the mindset of a beginner who is just, floundering from one thing to the next and doing all of the wrong things, which in turn means that you're not implementing the strategies correctly, which in turn means that you don't get the right results? Or are you somebody who has perseverance, who is doing the right things, interpreting data in the right way, and not just saying, this isn't working, the whole thing isn't working? That's like going to a mechanic and saying, my car is broken. No, it's not your entire car. It's probably just one of the different parts of your business, right? One of the different parts of your website, okay? Hello to everyone again joining us. Welcome. I'm here in my backyard in San Diego, so just excuse the squint and excuse the sun. I think it's just a nice little layout. So that's thing number one, the foundations. You need to have that mindset, you need to have the right niche. And sometimes you will go into or at least you have a few ideas about going into a niche, and it's not going to be profitable, or you're not going to enjoy it. You're not going to have the motivation to get out of bed in the morning and just think, well, I've got to do this again. You know, you don't want to have that feeling. You want to be excited and motivated to actually do stuff, to do the work, especially if you're working a full-time job. You get home from your full-time job and it's like, well, guess what? I've got to work on this now. My family are wanting to spend time with me, and I'm here working on this business. And every business requires sacrifice, but you got to sacrifice the right things. Of course, some businesses require more sacrifice than others. Online businesses, not so much. But with other offline businesses, you know, you could probably say goodbye to your life for a good year. That's what I love about this stuff as well. So you got to find the right niche that works for you, but also works for other people as well. Because if people don't actually want what you're trying to sell, then you're going to end up just trying to sell them something, not making any sales, and you go back to square one over and over and over again. Okay, so what happens then is you just end up in this cycle of doom. It's literally like you spend a year working on a project and it just doesn't take off. You can't seem to gain traction, and then you know, you just do the whole thing again. And because you're not putting the right fundamentals in place, you end up making the same mistakes for eternity. And all these other people are, you know, you're seeing the testimonials of people in this community, in other communities, making, you know, 6 figures a year, 6 figures a month, 7 figures a month and beyond. And then you're struggling just to make your first 10. You know, it's like, well, what's the difference? Well, the difference is the foundations. You've got the foundations wrong, right? So that needs to be correct. All that stuff I just showed you needs to be correct, right? The second part of this 5-part process here is you need to make sure that you have something to sell. So this is what we call the creation process, okay? You could probably name it something cool like Genesis or something like that, right? But we just call it create, because essentially you need to have something to sell to people. And you think, well, James, where do I get this thing to sell? What do I do with it? You know, how does this come out of thin air? Well, the truth is you need to have some form of advice. It doesn't need to be expert, world-leading, you know, amazing advice, the best ever. It can just be one thing more than your prospects know. Okay, that's it. When I got started in my business, I didn't really know much about online marketing and stuff like that, aside from the affiliate marketing I was doing at the time. So I taught that. That's all I knew. I knew the bare minimum stuff which I'd learned from other courses and just the basics, right? And then over time, I just got better and better, and I'm, you know, where I am today because of that process, of the learning process and getting better at what I do. And that didn't happen overnight, but you can start with having a bare minimum amount of knowledge. You don't need to be a world famous expert, because of the rest of the process. When you do the rest of the process correctly, the amount of knowledge that you have is kind of irrelevant, because you focus on what people actually want rather than just giving them everything. People don't want everything. People don't want more stuff. They want the right stuff. And if you can help them with that, with just one piece of knowledge they don't know, all good. And that you can make a 6-figure business from that very easily. You know, 6 figures is actually not that difficult to achieve. We did that in about 2 years or so without a mentor. If we'd have had a mentor, we'd have done it in a few months. You know, it's quite easy nowadays with the tools we have available. And hello to everyone as well joining us as well. Great to have you all here. Again, I'm here in my backyard in San Diego here. So enjoy the nice view of beautiful sunshine. I'm not sure if you can see that. Amazing. And by the way, moving to San Diego was something that was made possible with my online business. I actually have a visa which was tied to my online business. As you can tell, I am from England, hence my accent. And it's like, well, I didn't want to grow up in England. I couldn't be sitting here right now talking to you guys live on air in England with the rain above me. You know, I wouldn't be able to sit here just into February in the winter for most places in the world, especially the East Coast right now, seeing a bunch of snow. You know, I didn't want to have that life. So I moved to America because I thought, well, you know what, beautiful weather, sunny San Diego, love the place. Lots of other opportunity available here as well. Anyway, so those are the first two, right? You've got the foundations and you've got create. You need to create something based on a very limited amount of knowledge that you have or that you acquire through learning this stuff, becoming good at your craft, becoming good at your topic, and then package that in a way that is scalable and can be automated as well. So what most people do is they create some $27 course or something like that, and then they wonder, well, James, how can I get to 10K a month at $27? You'd need a lot of customers at that price point to get to that 10K a month level. small. And even 10K a month, as I said, you know, that's not really that much in terms of business. You know, you're thinking of this as a business, it's not really that much, especially if you're looking at like the living costs nowadays in America, especially in more expensive parts of the world. It's not really gonna, you know, have you live a free life and this amazing lifestyle you want to lead, right? To have the house that you want, the car that you want, all of the best things in life, right? So how can you do that if you're only charging $27? Yes, you can have optional upgrades after they purchase the initial offer, but essentially you want to have a back-end offer, a high-ticket offer. So we call them high-ticket offers because it's a high premium price point, and the person gets an amazing amount of value, which changes their lives for the better, right? So in a course, they typically go through the first few videos, they get bored, they put it on the digital shelf and never come back to it ever again, and it gathers digital dust, right? Whereas when you are, when you are helping people at a higher capacity, at a higher level, you are then able to help them in a better way. So what I mean by that is, in a coaching program, for example, if you're packaging your advice into a main curriculum, you could record that once and it's done. That's it, it's done, right? Whereas when you are doing consulting, for example, one-on-one, you're trading your time for money. And that is not good, because the more clients you have, the more overworked you become. And then you end up in this situation where you can't take on more clients because you're already overworked, you're already burnt out, especially if you have a full-time job, and you're like, well, where do I go from here? I can't just keep increasing my prices indefinitely, and even then it's not really like you're living a free lifestyle, a truly free lifestyle, because you're like, I can't go out this afternoon because I've got a client at 2 p.m. or something, and it just restricts your life. I would much prefer you to be in a position where you're waking up in the morning to sales coming in and clients getting results, whether you're there or not, you know? And hit the like button if this is making sense to you so far. If you're enjoying this, comment below if this makes sense as well. I will check the comments at the end, so just go ahead and leave some there for me, and I'll be happy to answer those. Also, as well, if you're watching this in the recording, please go ahead and leave a comment below as well if you're enjoying this stuff. And if you have any questions, I'll be happy to respond to those, you know, just when I see them as well in the future, right? So I'm talking to my future James here, right? Cool stuff, thanks guys. So, where were we? So yeah, you need to have something which is basically created in a way that you create it once, and therefore you can continue to sell that thing over and over again. Unlike stuff like drop shipping, where it takes like a month or something for people to even receive their items and you're using somebody else's stuff. When you create your own offers, your own content, your own programs and services, then they're yours, they're your legacy, and you're earning the full amount instead of getting paid the scraps if you're promoting an affiliate offer. And of course, you're helping people around the world. That's what it's all about. The more value you can provide to people, the happier you will feel. That's one of the reasons why we're doing this live show every week now, from now on, is just because when we're helping people, not only does, you know, it mean that we get more clients because they come to us, they see the value we provide and the results that we get for our clients and stuff, but also it makes me feel great as well. You know, there's no better feeling than sitting out in the backyard, the sun's shining, talking to you guys about marketing. I'm a massive marketing nerd, and that's what I love. And you need to find the thing that you love as well, which is, you know, part one of this process. So after you've created something which, you know, which really resonates with people and that they're looking to use to get to their outcome, because after all, that's what it's all about. You're helping people to get to a specific outcome. It's not just about like, oh, let's just tell them about marketing, tell them about dog training. No, you're helping them get to a specific outcome, okay? And when that happens, you are then able to charge higher premium prices, because they're gonna, you know, trading that price, the money they're paying you, for that premium outcome. If you were to think of the biggest problem you have right now in your head, what is that big issue? What is that big problem that you are facing every single day? What is it you worry about when you go to sleep at night, when you're thinking and you can't seem to you know, fix this problem? How much would you realistically pay to fix that problem? A lot of people would say thousands of dollars if they could get a very quick fix for that issue. And that's what you're doing as a coach. You're delivering people a solution to their most pressing problems and charging a premium to be able to do that, instead of them having to do that themselves, right? Is this making sense? Let me know in the chat if it is. So, that's the second thing. Now we're on to the third, right? The third thing is to actually sell that offer, sell that program, service, whatever it is that you're selling, right? So how do you sell it? Well, of course, you can't just spam your link on social media. You can't just stick a traffic campaign up and hope for the best. You need a process that takes people from knowing nothing about you whatsoever all the way through to wanting to buy your stuff and actively seeking out that solution. And, you know, saying to you, yes, James, I have no reservations. I want to go ahead and join your stuff because I know you are the person to help me, which is what a lot of our clients have done to us in the past. They've just reached out to us and said, hey, James, I need some help with this. I've tried and tried and tried, and then they just can't get anywhere. They come to us and like a few weeks later, they're making their first 5K. And it's like, oh my God. And I wish they'd have done that sooner. And they do as well, right? But you essentially want to put your stuff in a automated process, which takes them from knowing nothing about you whatsoever, which is typically your advertising. Okay, so if you're using paid ads like Facebook ads, Google ads, YouTube ads, any type of advertising, but essentially where you're putting yourself and your business in front of your ideal prospect, then you're using something called a profit process, which a lot of people call a sales funnel, but we use something that's slightly bit different to accelerate the results that you get from your marketing. And essentially you're using different pieces of content, different marketing messages, email follow-up, different other types of follow-up as well, to basically have lots of little touch points with your prospects that come in. So you're not actively, you know, speaking to every single one of them. One of the, you know, biggest pieces of advice we got many years ago was, James, you need to be calling every single one of your new prospects, every single one of your new leads. So we built up this huge sales team of people who were just calling every single person as soon as they joined our list. And, you know, they would just be nonchalant. They would just be like, yeah, I'm interested, but not really that interested. I need to go through this stuff first. And then if they did schedule a call with us to enroll into our services, they wouldn't show up. And it was just not great because there was no nurturing before that happened, right? That's something we've lesson learned, I guess. You know, there was no nurturing before the ask, you know, hey, do you want to buy our stuff? There was nothing before it. It was just, hey, buy our stuff, right? So if this is resonating with you, by the way, let me know in the comments as well if you've tried this before, if you've just tried, you know, spamming your stuff like, hey, buy my stuff, and it hasn't worked out. This is why, because people need to be nurtured. And we actually use something called an automated nurturing protocol, which sounds really fancy, but it's essentially a way of following up with people in a way that is really just kind of friendly, helping them, leading with value, and ensuring they get the best possible outcome from reading your messages and stuff like this, you know, live streams. I'm here to deliver maximum value to you, and hopefully you're learning something. Hit the like button if you haven't already, just because honestly, this type of process is much more, you can basically screw the whole thing up. You can just be a totally bad presenter. You could just really stumble through the whole thing. And as long as you're delivering value, that's what matters. And in the past, when I had a really thick British accent and I was, you know, I had the Birmingham accent. You probably tell a little bit if you're familiar with that accent, a little bit in my voice now, but back then people couldn't understand a word I said. But because of the value I was providing and the process that we use now, you know, we didn't know it at the time, but that process was the thing that enabled us to get to where we are today. So you need to make sure that you're selling your stuff in a way that is authentic to you, that is not hard selling people into things, especially when you're selling high ticket items, because that does not work at all. If you've ever tried trying to force somebody into a $3,000 plus program, then you will know that never works out, right? You'll know that people just like, well, this isn't right for me, I'll come back to you, or I'll ask my spouse, or all of these other objections as well. But when you do things in the right way, it's effortless. People come to you. People don't have objections for the most part. And if they are, they're really small, minimal things like, you know, I've got this vacation coming up. Is it okay if I pause the program until afterwards? And I'm like, hell yeah, go for it, you know? So little things like that will be your objections rather than, I don't have a clue who you are. Which is one of the main reasons people don't buy from you, because they don't know who you are, they don't know how you can help them, and they don't trust themselves to do the process that you're mentioning, right, that you're explaining to them. And your follow-up process and everything in your marketing should be fulfilling those things, you know, helping them with those things. So I just wanted to touch through those three things there. The next thing is something that a lot of people seek and they don't really know what to do with it, which is traffic. Okay, so if you've been thinking so far, you know what, James, I love getting traffic, I need more traffic, and you look at all of these different solutions out there, like whether it's advertising platforms or like social media packages on Fiverr or something like that, Tony says automated nurturing protocol. Yes, for sure. Let's go. We wouldn't be where we are today without that kind of thing. And that's something we teach to our clients as well, by the way, but it's just changed our business forever. But yeah, like when you, where was I now? That's really got me going. I was just like, yes, I love the enthusiasm, Tony. You've just totally thrown me with your enthusiasm. We need more of that, right? So traffic. What most people think is they need more traffic. The opposite is actually true. You actually need less traffic, and here's why. So the reason why somebody would buy from you is not because there's a huge amount of volume, okay? It's because of the quality of that traffic. Now, what I mean by quality when we're talking about people here, after all, is not in terms of like, oh, how much money does somebody have to spend? Because most people can get together the money they need to buy your stuff. Even with high ticket items as well, there is some way, shape or form they can get the money together. But the thing is how likely are they to purchase based on their situation, okay, based on their circumstances. So somebody, for example, in our industry who is, only just feeling out the market, they know they want a business, but they haven't really yet settled on a business model. They're thinking about selling physical items. They might, be interested in, selling TikTok management services or something like that, something completely off the wall, and they haven't really settled on a business model. Is going to be far less likely to buy our stuff compared to somebody who is looking to sell their advice in either a coaching program, consulting service, or course, right? Or at least they have this advice in their head and they need to know how to help others around the world in a profitable way. That latter person, the person I just spoke about, is going to be far more likely to buy our stuff. So you need to be putting your advertising and your marketing in front of the right people. And that's what I mean by quality. You need the right quality prospects. If you don't do that, then you're going to end up just having a bunch of these different people in your website, on your marketing funnels and so on. And they're not going to take action. You're not going to get the results that you want. You're going to have a lack of conversion rates in all of the places, all of the steps in your process. You're going to have people not even get to the second step, and they're just going to bounce because they're not the right fit. So it's important that you are attracting the right types of people, but also you should be positioning things in a way in your traffic generation methods and your marketing that is compelling to people. It's not just a matter nowadays of like, hey, here's how to lose weight, here's how to build a successful business, here's how to achieve a goal. Everyone's doing the same thing. You can't just do the same thing as everyone else nowadays. You have to have a unique methodology behind your program. You have to have a big idea behind your business. You have to do these little things which are very simple when you know how, but when you have them in place, they're done, and that is what differentiates you from your competitors, even when you are a complete beginner. Okay, Tony says junk traffic is evil. Exactly, it is. And the reason for that is because you can just spend so much money, so much time on stuff that just doesn't turn into sales. And that's what it's all about. You can't go to your bank manager and pay your bills or whatever else with traffic. You can't pay it with subscribers. You can't pay it with social media followers. The only thing you can pay those bills with and have a great life with is money and sales and revenue generated from people buying your stuff. People come to me all the time, James, I'm really established, I'm really successful, I've got all of these subscribers, I've got all of these social media followers, whatever it may be. And I say to them, well, how much money are you making? And they're like, well, 1,000. And I'm like, a day? And they're like, no, a month. And I'm like, wow, okay, so I'm guessing you're not paying your bills with that, right? And then they know there's a problem. And they thought they were doing great because they had all these subscribers, all these leads they'd collected and harvested over the years. And it's not turned into sales for them because they don't know what they're doing. And they continue doing the same things over and over again, and they don't realize that it's a problem until they speak with somebody who knows what they're doing, and then they get the way forward, and then everything's great. But you'll be surprised how many people just sit around and struggle indefinitely as well, sometimes as well. They don't ever reach out for help, and that's why they stay in the same place. And that's something you need to be aware of as a coach as well. A lot of these people are just sitting there waiting for some help, but they're not willing to ask yet. So your job is to, with your traffic generation, with your content and follow-up sequences as well, is to put them in a place where they feel like they have no choice. Like it's the worst thing they can do is just sit there and do nothing. And to reach out to you is the way they're going to fix their problem. Make them aware of that truth, So that is the 4th out of the 5 things so far. Now, let me know if this is making sense to you in the comments. Go ahead and just leave a comment, say yes, it makes sense, whatever. Just because if there's anything I'm missing, I do want to cover them live on this stream instead of, responding to stuff in the comments. So go ahead and let me know. Once again, if you're joining us, welcome to the live stream. We're going to be around for another probably 10 minutes or so, and then we're going to open up for some questions at the end as well, right? If there's time, of course. So the final thing here is grow. Okay, now most people think that traffic is the last step in the process, but that's not the case. If you just add traffic and add traffic and add traffic, you're going to end up with the same results over and over again. Your profit margins are going to be this big where they should be this big. And you end up with an ROI, which is like maybe for every dollar you spend, you get $2 back. And that's okay, you're doubling your money, but how would you like to get a 12 times return on your investment? That's currently what we get. Okay, with our funnels, most of our clients get between a 3 to 5 times return on investment. We had Foti and Amelia, one of our clients, go from just barely breaking even and sometimes making a loss some months to now making a 7 times ROAS and a 7 times return on ad spend. And over the course of their business, I believe that ROI, with everything included, is around 5 times. So for every dollar they spend, they get 5 back. And that's the end goal for traffic, but also for your business as a whole. And the way you get there is by looking at every single point in your process, everything in your business, from when people first hear about you to the closing enrollment call, or whether it's they buy your stuff or they upgrade their stuff, whatever it may be, the purchase, essentially, every little step in that process, what is it that is working and what is it that isn't working? So there could be a bottleneck. It could be, let's say, your order form is saying something that's just not resonating with them, or like it's making them second guess their decision. So you wouldn't know that unless you looked at the individual conversion rates of every point in that process. So that's really important, because if you don't do this stuff, you will just end up saying this whole thing doesn't work. The whole thing doesn't work. It's just one point in the process, or it could be a few. But these are often very simple fixes that you can do when you're looking for the right things and you know what to look for to fix these little issues, little bottlenecks, and then everything else flows freely. For example, if you're, let's say 20% of the people who visit your website turn into an email subscriber, for example, a lead, then if you increase that conversion rate by testing different headlines, for example, making things more compelling to people on that page, you could end up with a 40% opt-in rate instead of a 20% opt-in rate. And that would mean that you double your subscribers, which means there's twice as many people looking at your stuff and twice as many qualified people as well. It's not just a matter of like, oh, well, it's, I guess it's important, but I'll look at it another time. It's people who are actually wanting this stuff because you've made it more compelling to them. So that's really important to be aware of, that you can't just do the same thing over and over again and hope for different results, especially when it comes to analyzing your statistics and your business as a whole. And typically it requires somebody to look into these types of areas for you and with you, and look at your blind spots that you don't even know exist, whether you're just starting your business for the very first time, or whether you have something which is more established and you're not really sure why things aren't working. And that's one of the reasons why right now I would like you to comment prosperity below this video in the comments if you would like either myself or a member of my team to reach out to you, and we can schedule a quick chat with you and kind of analyze what you're doing so far. We can talk through what your ideas are, what niche ideas you have if you haven't yet got started, and we can kind of come up with a plan for you, a proven plan to market your business and to get that $10,000 plus per month income from your business minimum. Also, if at the end of the call you do decide you want our help implementing the plan we give you on the phone, then that's totally fine. Just let us know and we can talk a little bit more about how we can work together in our coaching program, where you can work with me personally and I guarantee your success. Otherwise, if you enjoy the call, that's totally fine. You're not really interested in coaching, totally fine. It's completely you don't have to go ahead and move forward with that. I'm here to help you with that. So prosperity is the word you need to comment in the comments right now. If you're watching this in the recording, this also applies to you as well. Go ahead and comment prosperity. Otherwise, hopefully this has been super valuable to you. I mean, it is something that we've learned from doing this stuff every single day since 2008, making over 8 figures between ourselves and also our clients as well. I say ourselves because we have a team now. Back when I first got started, it was just me, like one guy doing everything. And then over time, I took on more people to to kind of help me out with different things and to take parts of the business out of my life where I didn't really enjoy them, you know. So I'd much rather do content like this personally and leave everything else to everyone else in the company, right? I don't like doing any kind of HR stuff, for example, so we have a HR manager for that. And that's something I want for you guys as well, is that initially you will have to do a little bit of work, definitely nowhere near as much work as you would do trying to figure everything out for yourself for a few years, but still some element of work. And once that work has been done, you can then outsource that to other people, whether it's a freelancer or an employee, if that's something you want, okay? But either way, you know, to begin with, you can get to 10K, even 20K a month plus just on your own. And that can be done while working a part-time job, while, you know, having other commitments in life as well. And it kind of makes me laugh when people say, I don't have enough time as well. Like, oh, I don't have enough time, because everyone has time. Everyone has 24 hours in the day. Different people have different commitments, of course. But there's always a way to sacrifice something in your day if you want something badly enough. You got to think, well, how much do you want this, and how long are you willing to just sort of play around with this? Are you going to do it yes or no? Right? It's like at some point you need to come to a decision. Like, are you going to do this yes or no? Are you going to go all in? Or are you not going to go all in and you're just going to see it as a hobby and just waste your time with it? Because essentially that's what you're doing. If you're not doing the right things, you're wasting your time. So it's really important to just do things properly than just spending that same amount of time on something that doesn't work. You know what I mean? So that's why we're here. That's why we're here to help you. So and ultimately that's the end of this live session. Hopefully you found it valuable. So if you do have any questions, if you're watching this in the recording, or you think of a question after this session, please go ahead and drop it in the comments and I'll be happy to help you. Again, drop prosperity in the comments below this live session if you have any questions. And also if you want us to review your business, what you've done so far, talk about your ideas and see if we can help. One of our team members will reach out to you. Otherwise, have a great rest of the day. Coming to you from sunny San Diego over here. I'm going to go ahead and enjoy the sun a little bit more. Probably put a bit of sunblock on because I'm going a bit red on my forehead. My massive forehead. As you get older, the hair goes back, right? It takes longer and longer to wash your face in the morning, right? Anyway, hopefully you've enjoyed this one, and have a great rest of the day. Speak soon. Bye-bye.